What's up guys? This is Ben from Release Expert, and today we have a performance review of this colorway of the Air Jordan 35. Now this colorway is actually the launch colorway of this new model. Came out not too long ago, and being its first model, Jordan Brand decided to go with a louder, more out there colorway. Just my personal opinion, kind of reminds me of a spaceship. I know it sounds silly, but the grays kind of look like a spaceship with that blue looking like a spacesuit. And overall, the colors look like it has something to do with the galaxy. Definitely this silhouette is actually a homage to an older retro, which is the Air Jordan 5, which I have back here. Now, that shoe was designed by Tinker Hatfield, whereas this shoe was designed by Tate Kurbis. Now, the newer Jordan Signature line shoes take inspiration from the older retros. So with this one, the main feature that is most resembling the older retro is that huge tongue of the Jordan 5. And there's also little subtle details that kind of makes it look like a Jordan 5. So I think they didn't want to take that older model and add performance features to that. Instead, they just take inspiration and then add in the newest technologies into this shoe. So talking about this, what you can expect from my review is what you get within the box. We'll be talking about the tech that goes inside the shoe, the materials that make up the shoe, the traction, the fit, the price, and finally, my thoughts on whether or not you should be purchasing this shoe based off of my experience. So this is what you can expect when you purchase this shoe. It comes in a pretty big box. It's a little unique in the sense that when you open it up, it doesn't open like your traditional box. It opens up from side to side. Inside, you just have your standard box paper, inserts, nothing new there. But with this box, you have these little engravings that represent 35 with the 3 axes representing 30 and this view representing the 5. Now, moving on to the shoes itself. With the shoe, there are no accessories, seeing that it is a performance model. Typically with Jordan lifestyle sneakers, they do usually come with some sort of extra lace or hang tag, but seeing that this shoe is made solely for performance, there isn't anything like that in this shoe. With the insole, take a look at that. What you see is a teal ortholite insole with a geometric pattern kind of resembling that space theme that they're going with. And for the most part, everything's pretty standard, standard laces, nothing too special. So that's what you can expect with this shoe. Now, talking about tech. Now, one thing I will do is I will show you guys what a breakout of this shoe looks like over here, somewhere on the screen. And with this shoe, the main feature that I want to talk about is this midsole. Well, this midsole comprises of 3 parts. The first part is the Zoom airbags in the forefoot and in the heel. They're actually pretty big Zoom bags compared to most Jordan Brand performance sneakers. So we have 2 of those big Zoom bags. The forefoot's actually a segmented Zoom bag, which means that instead of one big piece of Zoom Air, it's actually separated for kind of maximum responsiveness. In terms of this midsole carrier, so this portion, which makes up a majority of the midsole, is actually made out of Phylon foam, which is an industry standard foam, and you really can't go wrong with this type of foam. It's a little stiff, but it gets the job done. And lastly, part of the midsole is this Eclipse Plate 2.0. Now, this is a new sort of technology, you could say, in the Jordan Signature line performance sneakers, starting with the Air Jordan 34. This is the second variation of this plate. Now, this Eclipse Plate serves 2 purposes. One, it's there to reduce the overall weight, as well as give that midfoot some stiffness and structure. Secondly, it's there to help your propulsion when you're playing basketball. So it helps with your midfoot to forefoot transition while you're running and jumping. And really, that's all it really is. It's just a stiff sort of piece of plastic if you look kind of on that midsole. Next, with the tech, we also have a flywire system on the sides for kind of your side-to-side lateral containment. It's just a bunch of flywire cables that make up this side, lateral, and medial structure. With the materials, this shoe is primarily a mix of suedes and synthetics. So if you look here, the two big panels on the toe box are made of suede, whereas the rest of the shoe is a mixture of synthetic meshes, and it seems like there's a few portions that are plastic, like that Eclipse plate. Now, with this colorway, we have suedes and synthetics, but not every colorway will have the same materials. For example, the Fragment Design collab of the Air Jordan 35 is actually primarily leather, so it will vary from colorway to colorway. So in terms of how the materials are used, they're trying to maximize breathability. So I would say that most materials should be relatively light and breathable for that purpose, since it is a performance basketball sneaker. So with the traction, we have a solid rubber compound with this herringbone traction pattern. It's a tried and true pattern, so I see no reason to make any changes or replace it. Playing with these outdoors, it has held up. So I've been playing in these for about a week for 1 to 2 hour sessions a day. And there seems to be no fraying on the sides, and it definitely seems to hold up. So this traction compound will vary amongst the colorways that you purchase. But so far, the solid rubber compound works perfectly fine, and I had no complaints with this traction. Next, with fit, this shoe definitely fits true to size. For me, I'm a slightly wide footer, about size 8.5, and this shoe fits perfectly at a size 8.5. If you look at this midfoot, it's a pretty wide base. So in my opinion, it fits perfectly for anyone that fits a normal size or a wide foot size. If you have a narrow foot, you might want to consider going down half a size. But in terms of the length of the shoe, I think it fits pretty true to an 8.5 from my experience. So if you do have the opportunity, I do suggest you go in store to try it on, because maybe depending on your foot, it might fit a little differently. And one thing to highlight with the fit is that with this shoe, what it really excels in is the heel containment. So over here in the back, there are two huge Achilles foam pods to make sure your heel is supported as well as contained. And I think that's one standout feature, because with most Nike sneakers, from my experience, the heel containment has always been lacking, especially in their running shoes. So I do appreciate the fact that there is a little more effort put in to heel containment this time around. Next, let's look at price. So this shoe will run you $180 US. So the current resale of this sneaker is about $200. It's not too much above retail. So if you're still looking for this particular colorway, because I know it is sold out on Nike, it's not too much over that retail price. In terms of having the intent to resell this sneaker, I do see this comparable to the launch colorway of the Air Jordan 34, which is the blue void colorway that's going for about $250. So I could see this as the ceiling of the resale. This might not be the best shoe to resell, but if you're looking for the shoe just for performance, $20 above retail isn't too bad. So for my final thoughts, let's first talk about what's good. So with the shoe, as I said, what was good was the fit as well as the traction. The traction held up even outdoors, which is good, because I think outdoor performance is a true test to see how good traction is. I would assume indoors it'll perform just as great. In terms of fit, fits true size, fits my wide foot, had no complaints there. And in terms of fit, one thing to note is that I did only play in these for a week, so I felt like it wasn't fully broken in, so there was a slight discomfort, but in terms of foot containment and fit, it felt fine. On paper, it seems like a great shoe. It has the newest, most innovative tech that Jordan Brand has to offer, but in execution, for some reason, I felt like this midsole was pretty stiff. It wasn't as responsive as a previous Air Jordan 34 model that I felt had more cushioning, or it might even have the same cushioning, but definitely more responsive. In terms of materials, it's nothing too special, but then again, the purpose of the materials is for performance, and it's for mainly breathability. So for $180, is this shoe worth the price? Well, I would say this, if you are interested in Jordan Brand's newest technologies and money wasn't a factor, definitely give these a try. These are definitely worth a try. Now, if you are on more of a budget and 180 is a little too much for basketball sneakers, I would definitely say there are better alternatives, considering after a week, the shoe wasn't broken in. And for 180, I really do expect a shoe to be, ready to play from day one. And that's not something I got from this shoe. There's a lot better alternatives. Even if you go back to the Air Jordan 34, you could probably find those on a discounted rate at this point. But if you like trying something new, I think this is a pretty good performer, just not on my list of something I would recommend to everyone. So if you like my review, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions regarding this model, please let me know and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care.